and welcome to episode 5 of Uzi Storybook Talks. Today I'm here with a very special guest,
Feyi.
And today we'll be discussing who do you want to become, which is very much part of our entire overall theme that we are going on for this season on that journey into our journey to self-identity and really figuring out who we are through who we've been, our experiences, our definition of love, our self-respect, our self-love, and now who do we want to become? So to be able to know who you want to become, there's this saying that says you need to go through to be able to know who you are, you need to be able to know who you want to become. And you need to be able to take those parts of yourself that you desire to be and really kind of almost envision yourself at that and strive for that. And that's kind of going to reflect through what you're doing right now, which kind of also makes up who you are. Have you ever heard that before?
No,
No,
but
you
it makes
haven't?
sense, yeah.
Like, I saw this thing where it was like, they say, like, kind of like how they say your past makes up who you are as a person and your past experiences make up who you are as a person. I noticed that, like, you know, for example, like, say you want to become a singer, right? But not just a singer, you also want to become a very, like, say, an entrepreneur as well. And those traits of a singer, those, like, for example, those, that ambition that you have now makes you an ambitious person.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Okay, that makes sense.
And, like, say that, like, that idea of, like, you know, wanting to be, make a business, it makes you a creative person. And that's also part of who you are as a person based off of, like, that thing that you're leading towards, that you desire to do. Because, like, you get what I mean? Like, how it
I agree
follows
with
through.
that about the ambition part. But
Yeah.
I feel like I've also heard that your past doesn't define who you are.
I heard that too.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that as well. So it's like both statements make sense to an extent because, like, if you've been a person that you don't
Yeah.
really want to be, like, that's not who you think you are. Like, you might have made some choices in the past that like aren't necessarily choices that you want to, like, you're proud of.
Yeah.
I think, like, the saying your past doesn't define who you are in that sense makes sense because I don't want to have to think of myself as, say, I was someone that cheated on my boyfriend and I don't know, was such a terrible child to my parents. Like, I don't want that to be my identity.
Yeah.
I don't want to claim that
No,
for,
I
like,
agree.
if that makes sense. So
No, that makes sense.
your past not defining who you are, I think, is pretty valid too.
I would say that is correct on the stance of, like, your past not defining who you are, but I also think your past experiences also helps you become who you are as a person.
I think we're saying
The same similar things.
two different things in the sense of you're saying experiences and I'm talking more like actions.
Actions.
So
okay.
it's like, I guess.
Okay, I get what you mean in
Yeah.
a way. I would say, though, it depends, though, because overcoming those actions and that awareness to, like, see your wrongdoings and that awareness to, like, for example, you can do stuff in the past, but if you're still doing that, that makes you that type of person. You get what I mean?
Valid.
So your past can also define who you are if you let it. If you don't want it to define who you are,
Then you change.
Then you can change it. Yes, exactly. It's like more or less like, but then it's like, but in order to change it, you need to be aware of those things because you can't change what you're not aware of. You know,
Yeah.
because then it's behavior, and behavior is a part of you because those hidden things that you do subconsciously. Those are actions, but as long as you don't know that you do them or you don't know that it's bad, that's part of you.
Yeah.
And unless you
It's
know
never
what
gonna
it is and you decide to change it, then that's the only way you can say, oh, you don't want this to define you. So, for example, like, someone could, what's it called again? Someone could go through a series of like allowing people to disrespect them, for example, right? And maybe it's because of their insecurity to make friends, for example, right? So maybe they don't really know how to make friends, and it's very hard for them to really put themselves out there, and they're very insecure when it comes to making friendships. And subconsciously, they're constantly allowing people to disrespect them just so that they can have friends and they can let people into their lives. And subconsciously, you're doing it. And your past of not having friends is defining that person that you are today, which is that person you're allowing disrespect into your life. It's that it leads to behavior. You get what I mean? Because now you think in order to make friends you have to let people just in your life.
You.
Exactly. Yeah. And
okay.
I feel like in that
I see that.
you kind of get what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
You're making sense. It's okay. It's like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I do agree when you say your past experiences don't define you. I agree with that. I saw something, and this is what's it called again? It's a short reflection before we go more deep into this topic on like your future self and really finding like who you want to become. And it says, becoming isn't about building something new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be.
Say that one more time.
Okay. Becoming isn't about building something new. So becoming isn't about building something new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. So kind of like digging up what was always in you.
Yeah.
And letting it out. Because I truly believe that whoever you are
is already
in you. Exactly. It's at the core of, it might be buried under all the self-doubt, insecurities, pain, trauma, everything. But it's there. That person who you are is there. And for you to get to that point, you need to take those things away. You need to take away that insecurity, that self-doubt, that, you get what I mean? Yeah. Am I making sense?
You are making sense, but I think it's a mix of both what you already have in you and seeing someone that you want to be like and learning new skills and changing certain behaviors. I feel, because to a very large extent, the person that I am today, which is not much compared, like in comparison to who I want to be, I think a lot of the things that I am today are based off of people that I've seen.
Okay.
And I'm like, I want to be that person. I want to be this person who's confident in the way they talk and the way they just carry themselves. I don't feel like I used to walk a certain way before, and people would be like, it was such a thing where people would say, "Oh, why do you walk like that?" And I didn't realize. I'm like, how am I walking? But then I looked at this one girl in my high school, and I just like the way she walked, like carried herself, and I started to carry myself in such a way that like people started saying I'm arrogant. It's not about arrogant. It's confidence. Yeah. And I sort of took it as a compliment because it was like a total shift from how like people would perceive me before based on how I carried myself. Like, so it's like also I might have had that confidence in me the whole time. Yeah. But I guess it took something. Yeah. To
really unlock that.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think it's a mix of like taking in stuff, which is I guess the part you're not really building stuff. I guess it's like. Is it called assimilation? No, I don't think that's the word. I don't know the word for it, but you're taking in things happening around you. Okay. And adding it to the thing that you already have inside you. Interesting. I feel like it has to be a very good balance of both. Okay. I can because no one man is an island, right?
Yeah, no, I get that. I also think that when you said seeing someone you want to be and those traits you admire in somebody else, I think admiring traits and wanting to maybe replicate those traits are good, but wanting to be that person, that's where the danger becomes. Yeah. That's a dangerous thing. Definitely. Because I would say when you start seeing traits, and it's okay to look up to someone, it's okay to admire someone, it's okay to admire traits, but wanting to be somebody and saying, oh, I want to be you, that's dangerous. Yeah. Because then you might actually start doing stuff to replicate that person, and now you're not even being yourself, you're being somebody else because you like that person or because you like what they're doing. And that's dangerous because then you're losing yourself in that process because you're doing it, you're almost like it's almost like it can get to the point where you almost start like copying them, and that's a dangerous thing, like even subconsciously. Like it's almost like when you see somebody, like an influencer, for example, and you see their life, you see how they're living, you see all these big things they have, and suddenly now when they have shoes, you want those shoes. When they do their makeup a certain way, you need to do your makeup. You want to do your makeup exactly how they did it. When they do their hair, you want to do. Before you know it, you're not even doing it because you want to do it, but because they're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. I'm not saying you do that, but I'm just saying it's a dangerous thing. I get what you mean, but it's a dangerous.
It is. There's a thin line between.
There's a thin line between
like admiring someone and just wanting to be that person.
Exactly, and that's where the danger can come in. Because if you're not careful, if you don't have that sense of self already, like being like okay with who you are as a person, if you're very insecure or you're very like lacking in that self-confidence, you might end up leaning towards just replicating that person instead of just taking traits you admire. Like, it's okay to, like, you know, if you see someone who maybe has very great posture and you're like, wow, I love how they sit. I love how calmly they talk. You know, I want to also be that type of person who talks in a calm voice. And honestly, you can be that type of person. You can want to be that type of person, but that might not be who you are.
But see, now that begs the question of like, I feel everything that we are, we weren't really born with anything. I don't think. I think it's more like we've been watching people our whole lives as kids. Like, I might talk a certain way. I might have been talking a certain way when I was a child because that's how my parents talk, or my aunties that lived in my house talk. So it's like, is that who I am? It's what I saw that I just took in. And growing up, it's like, oh, that's who I am. But maybe, like, so what is, like, your innate self? Because I feel like everything is a combination of just copying people.
That is your innate self.
And then, but it's also, so why can't I do the same thing? Not copying, like you said, not wanting to be that person, but like, if I wanted to like talk in a calm way like someone else as a 15, 16-year-old, how is that different from wanting to talk like how my mom talked as a 2-year-old?
I would say that innate self of like your true self is a combination of your experiences. Your experiences and the things you learn along the way is kind of who make who you are as a person. You can learn things because that's what we do. We learn how ABCs, we learn math. Just because we do math like the other person doesn't mean we're copying that person. That's just all how we learned it. But I feel like, for example, your voice, right? How you actually are meant to speak is how you're going to speak. You can choose to be like, oh, wow, I love how that person talks. I'm going to talk like this from now on because I love it. But is that genuinely how you are supposed to speak? Is that your real, like, is that your real voice? Is that your real self? Because it's going to come out eventually.
But I feel like people could define who they want to be.
You can. And that's the fun part about it. You get to define yourself. But also, you can't define yourself based off of, like, you can't define yourself based off of just everyone else, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Like, I feel like you can't just like define yourself because you can't define yourself as someone else. So it's like, if you are solely for the sole purposely like taking those traits from someone else, like really like, almost like you want their life, you want to be them, and at that point you can't do that. You know, you are still you. You can choose to wear your hair the same, do your nails the same. You could choose to talk like them, walk like them, speak like them, have the same job as them. But at the end of the day, you will never be them because they're choosing those things. But you're choosing what they're doing. So it's almost like your life has become a replication of someone else. And that's not your true form. That's it's a facade. You know, you're masking your true self almost because you feel like you have to be this way. But your true desires may not to walk like them or talk like them, but maybe it's more or less like, for example, you like how people you like how people look at them when they walk, and you like how it looks almost. And maybe your truest thing is not like wanting to walk like them, but maybe you just
the attention that they get when they walk like that.
So that's actually your truest desire. You get what I mean? I feel like there's a deeper meaning to each thing you want. Like, you can maybe, for example, maybe you really, 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 really want to dance on Beyonce's stage. You really want to be a backup dancer for Beyonce. Is it because you love to dance? Is that your true desire? Or is it because you love how people react to the dancers on stage and you want that for yourself? You want people to react to you like that too. So it's like people
That's
can
a
have
very-
different
That's
desires.
a whole different conversation. I feel
Yeah.
but like I honestly think it's a thin line.
It is
I
a
think
thin
we're
line.
we're saying the same thing. Also, like it's
Yes,
also
no,
two
I think
sides of
we're
the same
agreeing with
coin.
each other. I don't
yeah,
think
I
it's an
agree with
argument,
everything
yeah.
you're saying, but there's definitely like that line where it could shift from admiration straight into like obsession of that person, wanting to be that person. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, there's a thin
And that's when
line.
you lose your truest self of sense, because now you don't even know what you want, because your wantings and desires have been based off of replication of that other person. That like you're now like, do you actually want to wear your hair up that way, or do you just like it because that's how that other person has worn their hair up, and you like that person, so you want to wear your hair up that way? You get what I mean? Like, I feel like it's like one of those things, like, is that actually truly what you want, or do you just want it because you like how other people look at it, or how what other people thinks of it? You get what I mean?
Yeah, definitely get
Because
that.
you care about what other
Like
people
opinions.
think. Exactly. And that could really affect like who you end up choosing to be, because it's like, now it's like, are you choosing to be this way because this is who you actually are? You know? And honestly, it could also, like, you also have to kind of think, like, a fun exercise I like to do is, like, I like to think about my future self. And, like, I think about myself now and what I think I will be doing in the next 5 years, for example. And I like to think about things like where I think maybe the type of space, the type of life I want to be living, the type of people I want to be around,
Definitely think
the
about
type
that
of
too.
traits. And it's like, okay, if you could meet your future self in 5 years, what would they be doing? And like, who would they be, basically?
Okay. It might come out and it might show itself in like different ways, but I want to be a respectable person
Okay.
in whatever space that I find myself. I'm in film. We were both in media film. But I don't like, as much as I could plan my whole life to have that film career that I really want, I also just give myself space and the grace to forgive myself if I end up not doing film in the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
So it could be hospitality, because I work in like a restaurant right now, and there's like so much chance to grow in the hospitality industry to like whatever level you might want to attain. So whatever it is, it could be film, hospitality, freaking business. I want to be respected in that space, and like I said, it could show itself in any way. But I want to be the best at what I do. I want to hone my skills, and when they're thinking, oh, I need someone for that, they just think of me because
I
I'm the
love
best in that.
I love that.
Yeah, that's definitely who I see myself being in 5 years in whatever it is that I decide to do.
Did you know that as you're saying that, like, that is basically who you kind of already are as a person?
Yeah.
Like, when you said, and it's so funny because when you said, oh, you want someone to just think of you when they think of certain things, that's literally what I did. Like, when I reached out to you, like, what's it called again, regarding I know I did get someone did refer me to you, but it's because I knew your skills and everything, and because of who I knew as you as a person, that's why I reached out to you, because of the platform you've made for yourself. You've given yourself, so now that person knows who you are, and that's how they recommended you to me.
Not knowing that we already knew each other.
Not knowing that we already knew each
Yeah.
other, but that's already, you're already that person, and that's why I said who you want to become reflects on who you are already. And that's why for you to know who you are, you need to know who you want to become. And I like how you
like
didn't
that.
say your careers. You didn't say you didn't say specific careers. You gave yourself that grace, like you said, because people have passions, but you can't let your passions consume you.
Yeah.
Because if that's not what God aligns for you and that's not what you're supposed to do, it can really hold you back from really becoming something greater. Because maybe somebody might really, really, really want to be an actress. Really, they moved to LA, they moved to Hollywood, and their entire life has been acting, their dream. They don't think they will ever be fulfilled in this life if they're not acting. But what if God has for you, maybe it is to be an actor at one point, but maybe it's to be the next Disney, the next Netflix, the next something bigger than just, but because your eyes have just been on one thing, you're letting it consume your entire life, you don't want to explore anything else. But you're saying traits of that thing that you want. So like that hospitality, like you said, like you're not specifically saying, oh, you want to be a nurse or you want to be a server or this or that. You're saying you want to help people. And now when you have a job that helps people and is a reflection of that, you will feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
So it's so much deeper than just a specific job, but what that job does for you and for other people.
Exactly that.
So honestly,
Exactly
it's
that.
one of those things where it's like, and that's why I like to tell people, when you imagine yourself in 5 years, don't just say, oh, I want to be rich, I want to be happy, but like, how do you want to be happy? You know what I mean? Do you want to be happy through prioritizing yourself every day? Do you want to be rich with love, with family, with friends? Like, how do you want to do that? Like, how do you want to do that? Like, it's more than beyond just, oh, you want. It's more than just one word. It's almost like an action. No, I don't want to say an action.
Yeah. It's not how, like, I've heard someone say it a certain way before, but it's not about what, it's more about why and how.
Yes,
something like
exactly.
That. Yeah.
Truly, exactly. And okay, another question I had for you is, what does your peace look like, and what does your confidence feel like? Because I feel like a lot of people truly say they want peace, but they don't even know what that looks like. And you're saying that you're a confident person, but what does that feel like? How do you know you're a confident person? How do you feel that confidence?
Yeah. For confidence, see, that piece, I never really thought about it until now, so I'm going to put that on the back burner for now.
Okay.
But for confidence, I never really thought I was a confident person until a lot of people started telling me, and I'm like, maybe I am. And I started to reflect on it, and I remember this one time I was like at a party, and I was the only one dancing, and I didn't feel shy. I didn't even feel like I was out of place. And I looked around me, I'm like, oh shit, I'm the only one dancing. And then I'm just like, well, that's mainly because I don't really care what other people around me are doing.
Yeah.
I felt happy with what I was dancing. I was like, okay, like I'm here. I left my house because I'm such a homebody. Like if I'm leaving my house, I'm coming to have a good time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, like, my happiness is not gonna depend on any other person. I was just dancing, and I did, because normally I don't know how to dance. Like I wouldn't say I'm the greatest dancer, but I was there dancing, and that just really made me like reflect on like all these comments and compliments I'd be getting about like my confidence and how I just present myself to people. And I'm like, maybe they're right, because what confidence looks like to me is not caring what other people think about me in that like situation and whatever I'm doing. Then I know that, yeah, this is like the most free expression of myself and my confidence. And it's also, I feel like everyone these days is very cookie cutter. Like I said this at a party like very recently where like everyone was acting the same. Yeah. Like everyone's trying to talk the same. Like, oh girl, I was like, okay. Like yeah, okay. But it's like everybody was doing that, and I'm like, when did it become such a thing to wanna, like, everyone's hair was looking the same, everyone's this behavior, like clones, it's like everyone's trying to fit like a certain,
it's social media,
like certain mold. And I'm like, what is happening to people? Like, no one had a personality. Like, you're having a conversation with someone, and it's like, I'm not getting any like authenticity from you. Yeah. So when I look at myself, I'm like, okay, like I know that there are a lot of things that other people could call me silly for, or call me just like maybe laugh at me for. But I do them anyway because I really don't care. And when I got to that point and I I was aware that I got to that point,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yes, I feel like I've unlocked that level of confidence I always wanted for myself. Because I couldn't public speak in high school.
Really?
Or I always wanted to, because I had this like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say her name, but I really looked up to her in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and she was so confident on like when she's speaking, debate,
Yeah.
whatever. And I always wanted to be that person, but I couldn't. I would stutter. I couldn't be on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just asked the English teacher one day, can I like join the public speaking team?
Yeah.
She's like, okay. And then she let me on, and I just watched people. I started to do it, and I'm like, okay, well, I know in a couple years I want to be that person that would just enter a room, and I don't care if I could be in rags, but like the way I would walk, you would think it's freaking like
Gucci.
Kuto or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I've reached there. At least what 10-year-old me would have thought was like the peak level of confidence. I feel like I've reached there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Maybe there's a lot more confidence to still come out of this person that I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I'm very happy with my confidence level and how I carry myself and present myself to people.
I love that. And
Yeah.
when I said, what does it feel like? When you are at that state of like entering a room and, you know, you're just walking and people are literally seeing the glow on your
Yeah.
face just by you entering the room, and you're not even noticing that, but other people are noticing it. And when you maybe are in a party dancing, what are you feeling at that moment? What does it feel like for yourself when you're at that most confidence?
It just feels like satisfaction. It feels like I've been chasing confidence this like my whole life. I just wanted to be like, it just feels like I can finally, you know, be myself.
Exactly.
Because like before, I would always like, what do people think about me? Like, is my hair this way? Is like, am I like acting the way people in society act? But like when I'm in this like in spaces and I'm just like relaxed, I don't really care what you think about me, and it just feels like a breath of
a fresh air.
like fresh air. Yeah, it just
Yeah.
feels like relief and peace. I guess maybe that's what peace feels like to me.
So yeah, what does it look like to you though? That's the question.
Look like?
Yeah.
Like confidence?
No, peace.
Oh, peace. What does peace look like to me? Oof. See, I never really thought of it.
It's a hard one.
What does it look like for you?
I would say for me, when I think of my peace, I think of me being in that utmost like content with who I am. And I feel like peace has more to do with just more than just relaxation, but also that feeling of anxiety disappearing. You're not nervous, or you're not what's it called again? You're not afraid. You know, it's not just relaxation almost. It's like for example, I do things, I say things based off of examples a lot because it's the only way I could really visualize it. But basically, like the entire world could be doing something, but if I have my headphones on and I'm listening to music and I know that I handed in my assignment on time and I don't have anything I'm not overthinking, and you know what I mean? Like, just, I feel like for me, that's like peace. Like, it's like that satisfaction of like, almost like satisfaction, but not necessarily. Like, I feel it's just like that utmost of like, oh, you're doing everything right. Like, for example, right now, even when my life feels almost discombobulated, I still feel at peace because I know that I'm still doing what I want to do and I'm still going to get to where I want to go. And for me, that's very much, it puts my mind at ease. And I think when I don't have too much worries or too much things clashing, like, oh, am I going to do this? Or am I going to do that? Or how am I going to do it? Like, I don't know if I'm going to, or where am I going to, I think that's where I'm at most peace. Like, for example, like when I made my festival, or when I was doing my films, I didn't know how I was going to get the money. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I still knew that it was going to get done. So I didn't worry about it. So I was at peace. And it got done. And that's the thing. It's like those, like, even though I don't know all the answers, that feeling of like, I know it's going to happen one day. And whether it happens right now or tomorrow, it's going to happen. And just being sure in the thing happening, I think that's where my peace comes from. And I think that's also, it has to do with my faith in God as well, because
You just said it.
I'm a religious person, you know. I'm a Christian, and I don't even see Christianity as a religion. I said this before. I see it as a relationship. You know, like that feeling of trusting somebody, trusting God, and knowing that He will never let you down. That feeling of, if you have worries, giving it to Him, that it'll all work out. That feeling of someone has done you dirty, they've done you unright, and leaving the justice to Him, letting Him be, like letting Him have that vengeance for you, and not having to worry about that, and not having to seek for that, and put yourself at a point where you let vengeance consume you because you're trying to do it yourself, or you let those worries and pain consume you because you don't know how things are going to get done, and you think you're doing this alone, but you're not, because at the end of the day, He's doing this with you. He's literally living this relationship with you. So it's like putting that to God and letting Him kind of take the wheel, like they say, let Jesus take the wheel. I think I could be at peace in the passenger seat, knowing that my God is driving me, and I know I'm gonna get to my destination safely. And I don't know. That's what it looks like.
I feel like you just, like, everything you said, I could very much relate to, and I'd never really thought about. I guess I never thought about it in, like, with the word peace. It was more like when you said you didn't know how you were gonna get the money or whatever, but you just knew it was gonna happen. Like, I've been there way too many times in the past, like, 3 years since I've been here. Like, I don't know how it's gonna happen. It's like a week to resumption, and my dad's not really saying anything about school fees or whatever. I'm like, I know I'm gonna go, like, I'm gonna graduate. I don't know. I might have to take a semester off, whatever. Like, I'm never worried. It's actually crazy. Nothing worries me.
And
I don't, and I never really thought about it as peace. I just knew that I'm not worried. I'm not thinking. I'm not losing sleep over anything. I'm just like, yeah, God's gonna do it. Like, I don't know how, but God's gonna do it.
That's literally what you said. That's literally a peaceful privilege, because like that feeling of not losing sleep over it and not letting it eat you up away is you choosing peace. And when you let it consume you and let it be like let it be all you think about, you will lose sleep, and then you won't be at peace. You know, you will be losing your mind slowly trying to figure things out. But when you just know it's gonna happen, you don't have to be worried. That's when you're choosing peace, and that's what peace, at least that's what it looks like for me.
Honestly, I agree with everything you said, and I feel like my definition of peace without thinking about it is very similar. So, like, my visual reference for what peace looks like for me, I would say, is when I'm unemployed, I'm owing 3 months worth of rent, I don't know where I'm going to be sleeping in the next month, I just don't know I have no answers to all these things happening in my life. But I'm on my phone at 3 a.m. scrolling memes and laughing and going to and just yapping with my friend on the phone, forgetting that, look, I have no space to, like, live in a month. And I think that's what peace looks like to me. Just literally going about my life, controlling the things that I can control, and not letting anything get to me.
I feel like that's a very good perspective, especially when you said, like, not letting it get to you and controlling what you can control, because at the end of the day, what's gonna happen is gonna happen. What's for you will find you. And I'm not saying that means you should just sit down on the floor and wish for $100 and eventually to come. You have to be a little bit more realistic than that. But I would say that as long as you put in the work and you have the faith,
do your part.
Because faith without work is dead. But you also have to remember that you need to have faith when you work. Because if you're working and you don't know where you're going to, that's when you're going to be distracted. You need to be, it coexists.
Yes.
It goes together.
I totally agree with that.
And honestly, I feel like when that happens as well, like when those times that, you know, you work for it, even though you don't know exactly what you're going to do next, you truly believe it's all going to work out for you the way it's supposed to. I genuinely feel like that's when things actually start working out. Because when you try to make it, when you force it on yourself and you try to like control it and you try to drive the car even though you don't have the license, you will crash, and sometimes maybe you need to step out of the car and take a walk, and someone will pick you along the way and help you get to your destination. But it doesn't mean you have to force yourself into doing something that you're not, maybe you're not built to do at that point in your life.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can just go ask for help and tell someone to teach you how to drive, so you can know how to drive the car to your destination. So it all depends, like, how you choose to work. Like, is your working method asking for help, or is it learning how to get those skills so you can do it yourself, or is it maybe taking the longer way and seeing the type of things that may come out of it? Maybe you don't get to that destination, but you get to a different destination instead, and that destination is just as beautiful and it's just a wonderful, exactly. And it's almost like that. I watched this one movie, and it was like there was a split narrative of this one girl. She got pregnant in this one narrative, and that was a whole different movie. And in the different narrative, she didn't get pregnant, and that was a whole different narrative. And it's like, at the end of the day, they both still had, one person had maybe like a family and everything at the end. The other person maybe didn't have a family, but had their dream job, dream career, and and both are two versions of happiness. And maybe you may want the other thing, but this is where you'll be the most happy, and God knows that, and that's why He put you there. Versus, like, even though you're like, oh, I really, really, really wanted this, but maybe you would have gotten there, and that could have eaten you up alive, and it could have even killed you. So I genuinely feel like it's one of those things where it's like, what's for you will find you, and what's meant for you will happen. And you shouldn't try to force yourself to do more than what you think you can handle, because it might end up breaking you instead of building you.
That part. Look at you go. Yes, I totally agree.
I have another question for you.
Good.
What do you think was a specific moment or season in your life that forced you to evolve?
Definitely moving here.
Okay.
I think it's such a such a cliche answer.
Yeah.
For any immigrant. But he really did. And before moving here, like, I've known so many, like, immigrants. Like, my brothers moved before I did, and I know, like, I just saw that, like, I could hear, I wasn't there with them, but I could hear them over the phone or, like, video calls, whatever. I could just tell that they were very different from, like, they'd grown up from when last I saw them. And I didn't know it was because of, like, the things they had been through, just as, like, being by themselves, away from, like, I just thought it was like, oh yeah, they're older now, of course they'll be wise or whatever. But when I got here, I realized it wasn't just about the age for me, because I'm relatively young compared to, like, other immigrants that are, like, going through their own experiences. But for me, it was just the situations that happened. Being an immigrant, moving here, starting a whole new life in Toronto, made me grow up really fast. Yeah. It was pretty hard, but it was not anything I couldn't handle. And it just made me really believe, or I agree with the fact that God wouldn't give you more than you can handle. I thought it was such a, like, what do you mean God's not giving you what? Like, I just thought it was just a saying, but then I just found strength that I never knew I had. I'm like, what? I remember I would go, like, I had 3 jobs at some point, and it would be like, and I was, like, in school. And my day would be, I had class 8 to 11. My shift starts at 12 to 4 at this job, and then I do 4 to, like, close at the other job. And then maybe the next day, I don't have class, I'll just work, like, 2 jobs, like, say, like, 10 to 4, and then, like, 4 to close. And I'm like, in Nigeria, all I did was be in my dad's bed, eat some good food, go watch TV. And I'm like jumping all over the place. I'm like, I want streetcar. I'm running to my other job so I'm not late. I'm like trying to do assignments on the way. I'm like typing my elective essay in the streetcar as I'm going to my shift. Like, it was so crazy. And I would just look at myself. I'm like, I never thought I had this much drive and just capacity to do so many things at once. And looking back, I actually realized that in whatever scale of multitasking I had to do. I always had that in me. It was just on smaller scales. So like God had been building those little like He'll give me like little things to multitask with, preparing me for like this bigger thing, which eventually like happened. And I'm pretty sure like there's something much bigger coming. That like this 3 jobs that I had in school sounds like what's such a big deal to me. It would be like child's play when this
Bigger
whatever it is
thing.
preparing me for happens.
Yep.
So it's
all
like
preparing.
yeah. So I kind of remember the question. What was the question again?
The question was, is there a specific moment in the scene
Yeah.
that involved you?
So definitely just the experience of moving here and having to live by myself and handle this thing just made me, it really changed me as a person and made me grow and made me just want to, it just made me grow up faster than maybe I had to.
Okay.
Or it just made me, it wisened me up, toughened me up too.
Yeah.
I was never really like a crybaby. I've always been like very emotional and in touch with my emotions, but like here I'm just like, yeah, there's no point really crying about anything. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going. So
No,
it
I
toughened me up
agree.
in that sense. And yeah, that was the moment I realized I had to evolve and change.
I think that it's one of those things that people say that your experiences kind of shape, like I said before in the beginning, your experiences shape who you are as a person. Because now, because of those experiences, because you had to go from one job to another, you learn not only time management skills, but you also learn discipline skills, because I'm sure you had to sacrifice a lot of things.
Yeah.
You learn how to prioritize better. It trains you
Yeah.
into becoming an even better version of yourself. And now you have those traits a part of you. So now when someone says who you are, you can say, oh, I'm a person with a lot of time management, or I'm a person who's self-disciplined. And that's all part of who you are as a person because of those skills, because of that experience. So that's what I also meant by your past also helping to become who you are.
Yeah.
Based off of like the experiences and what you went through, the things you learned from it. Because learning is how you actually develop that sense of self, because that's where growth comes from. If you don't learn anything, how can you grow? If you're just doing the same things but
Exactly.
nothing changes, or you're not seeing what implications you're creating from that.
It's like, what's the thing they say? Looking for a different result when you're not changing the
The root of it.
Exactly. It's
Like, and it's so funny because a lot of people pray for growth and they pray to grow, but they panic at the point when you're trying to actually like get to that level. Like when it comes, they panic when the part of ourselves actually start to outgrow, and they don't know what to do, because you pray, oh, I want to grow, and then you're given experiences that help you to grow, and you're like, what do I do? You face them.
Yeah.
And you work towards it and you do it, and then that's how you grow and you learn from it. And if you fail, that's okay. That's how you grow. You'll learn from it. And you keep failing until you don't fail. And eventually you're going to be so good at it to the point where you remind yourself, oh, remember when I used to be so bad at this thing, but I've always wanted to do it, but because I faced it and I wasn't afraid to fail, and I kept doing it and I kept at it until I got that. And now I'm at the point in my life where I've always wanted to be. And that's the thing. A lot of people, they don't want to chase that version of themselves they want to become. They don't want to chase their dreams. They don't want to chase their goals. They don't want to be ambitious because they're scared to fail. But they don't know that fear is the reason why they're being held back. They're still at the point that they are now. That they've always been for years and years, and they're wondering, why can't I change? Why can't I grow? Why can't I become this person? Because you're afraid. You're afraid to grow. You're afraid to
Very
fail.
comfortable in who they are already.
Exactly.
It's like you gotta expand, be a little bit uncomfortable to actually see any change.
Oh, that discomfort is so interesting, actually.
It is.
It's used to be very scary, but now it almost gives me like a sense of like adrenaline.
It's like, yes, like the fact that I'm just like uncomfortable means that something like I'm growing.
Like, yes, give me that anxiety.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of goosebumps.
I get what
Like,
you
I
mean.
love that. Like, especially when I get encounters where I have to be more confident. I remember I used to pray for that self of where I can become that type of person that doesn't allow people to disrespect her, that stands up for herself, right? And then when that experience came, where I had to develop those skills. And someone came to me in a form of disrespect. I was shaking. Oh my gosh, it was so scary because I've never been in that spot before. I was comfortable just being like, you know what, okay, fine, I understand. That was what was comfortable to me. But I realized that that anxiety I was getting at that moment, saying, no, don't talk to me like that. No, I don't appreciate it. No, you need to respect me as a person because I'm a person, and that's enough for you to respect me. Those words that I was saying that I've never said before to a person that was actually doing those things, it was scary. I didn't even know what I was saying, but I knew I needed to say it. And at that moment, I was getting goosebumps. I was getting so much anxiety, that fear of stepping out of my comfort zone. But I was so proud of myself that I pushed myself to that point. And now I learned how to do it. So now in the future, when that time comes again, it won't be as scary because I recognize that feeling. And when that time comes, because I learned from it, because I chose to step into that discomfort and I chose to allow myself to get to that point because I knew that's who I wanted to be, I was able to become that person. And now it's not scary anymore. It comes, it's my nature. It's part of who I am. And that's how you truly become who you want to be, by stepping into that discomfort, that by going beyond what you feel like, what you've always been in, what feels comfortable to you, what feels familiar. Because, I don't know, I feel like people are forgetting that you need to explore sometimes those unfamiliar roads, because it could be leading you to somewhere so beautiful, so crazy, that you just become very excited. And I totally lost track of time. Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's okay, girl.
So let's round this up with a reflection episode. A reflection from the audience. Okay. So basically, one of the things that I tell people, one of the things I do on my episodes is that we listen to a reflection from someone from a previous episode. And not from someone from a previous episode, sorry. We listen to a reflection of someone from an audience member who is listening to us, or who is just based off of the topic, basically. So the question that I asked, that this person answered, was, imagine your future self in 5 years from now walked into the room. What would they thank you for, and what would they remind you not to forget? And this is what they said.
If my younger self could see me today, I think she'd be proud of my resilience and how I kept showing up for myself even when things were hard. Going through a lot of challenges, adversity, and moments that could have changed me. I really stayed true to who I was. And I think she'd admire not allowing other people's perception change me or shape me. And I stayed true to my values, my voice, and the vision I had for myself, even when it wasn't easy. And she'd be proud that I didn't give up on me. For what my future self would thank me for, I think it would be for finally choosing to follow through and not just dreaming but doing, and starting things that I've been putting off and seeing through with them, with consistency and proper intention. She thanked me for not letting fear or procrastination hold me back, but for continuing to show up for myself. And not just when it was fun, or not just when I wanted to, but when I had to, and I had to stay disciplined. I would.
Oh, yeah, and that's it. That's all
on
they
the
said.
subway.
Yeah. No, yeah, they literally said that they really wanted to reflect on the episode, so they just did it in the middle of the subway.
Yeah.
But the last thing they said was for showing up for themselves, even not just when they wanted to. And that's literally what you need to do. Keep showing up for yourself, not just when you want to, but at the most hardest points of your life. And that's how you actually truly become that person you really want to be.
Yeah. That's definitely so true.
No,
and that speaks to me a lot too.
No,
so,
right?
Yeah.
I wish we
great.
could talk more,
Yes.
but we are out of time.
It's amazing.
Yes. Thank you so much, Feyi, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And thank you guys for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate just you guys staying in tuned for this long. And I hope to see you guys also on my next episode 6. Thank you guys once again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.